Which real estate investing strategy is the best? Let's dive in and let's go through a variety of options that you have. So, what I want to talk about today is that there are so many different ways that we can actually get involved in real estate investing. I think this is actually one of the coolest things because people can really enter real estate investing in so many different situations and so many different places in their lives. So, I am going to take you through 5 different strategies that you can consider and see which one might be the best fit for you. Now, first one that we're going to talk about here is a fantastic way for starting getting into real estate investing. It's a fantastic opportunity to really enter this industry. It really tends to be a place where so many of us, including myself, actually got started in real estate investing. That strategy is called house hacking. Now, I actually got into this even before I realized what house hacking was. What I mean by that is I was living down in New York City. I used to live in the Bronx. My husband and I were there for many years. We decided that we really wanted to be able to get our first place. We didn't know anything about real estate, anything about real estate investing, even at that point in time. But when my husband said, hey, I want to be able to buy our first home, I said, you know what? Great idea. But how are we going to afford that? It's very expensive, especially in the New York City area, competitive. How are we going to be able to do this? I really did not want to be living paycheck to paycheck. So I said to him, a good way that I think we can get started is by buying a multifamily, living in one side, or renting out the other side. That way we can be able to bring in cash from that other unit that's going to be able to help us with our mortgage. This was something that I thought that I was really special, really unique to figure out this strategy. And once then I got involved in it, I realized it was already coined. It already had a phrase called house hacking. But this is a great way to really be that entry-level landlord. It's a great way to get that introduction. You're living on the property. You understand what's kind of going on with it. You're there if there's any maintenance issues. And usually then you would only have like 1, 2, 3 other tenants that you would need to be able to manage, right? So it's a great entry-level way to become a real estate investor. What's also really great about this strategy is since you're living on that property, you can take advantage of owner-occupied financing. That means you can usually put down a lower down payment. You get a better interest rate than you would for investment types of loans. So there's some really great ways to get into this. And if you get to be able to even decrease what your own cost of living, or maybe even live for free or get paid to live, like we were able to do when we bought our first property in New York, this is a great way to get started, and it's going to be a fantastic introduction to get into some of the more difficult or advanced strategies we're going to be talking about next. Strategy number 2 that I see a lot of people moving to in this space is after that first house hack, would then be to move to purchasing their first investment property that could be a turnkey. What's great about turnkey properties is there's kind of not much to do as the actual owner or as that landlord. What's really important here is just that idea of how do we now take this property and keep it running? It's already up and running. What's really cool is that there are a lot of companies out there that actually sell those turnkey properties. What I mean by that is they maybe did the rehab, they already placed the tenants there, they maybe even have a property management company in place. You just really kind of go from anywhere else in the world. You can go purchase that property, live where you are, and have somebody else just really take care of that. Even if you take over that management of it, you already have your tenants in place, right? So you don't have to worry about on day one ripping out carpets, painting walls, or getting the place rented, which is also fantastic if you are looking to buy long distance, or if you're a person that wants to be a hands-off landlord, turnkey properties might be a good way for you. This also starts to introduce to you, if you were that house hacker before, this will now introduce to you how to be able to scale and grow from there, right? Now we were safe. We had that entry-level version with house hacking where we lived really right on that property. Now all of a sudden we can really kind of upgrade and say we're not going to live on the property, but also something that's in really good condition that you know have great tenants there, even from the very first day that you buy the property. Moving up from there, the next strategy I want to talk about, I'm going to have to kind of give you 2 of my next strategies here. But at that point in time, if you already have house hacked, if you've already been in a situation where you've been running that turnkey property, it might be time to start to think about a rehab. In real estate has become known as the BRRRR strategy, right? The BRRRR strategy is really that idea of buying, rehabbing, renting, and refinancing, okay? That allows you to usually buy a property for less money, but then be able to have that value add. You're fixing up that property, you're improving what that property looks like. So then therefore you can actually pull your cash back out. So this is a great way to be able to take that same down payment and use it over and over and over again. That's usually one of the biggest struggles I hear over in our Lady Landlords Facebook group is people talking about how are they supposed to save? How are they going to come up for that down payment every single time over and over and over again? Well, with this BRRRR strategy, you're actually able to take out a lot of the money that you put in. If you did it right, you can actually take out all the money you put in, maybe even a little bit more if you really found a great deal. But what I want to talk about here in strategy number 3 is actually a mini BRRRR, okay? You've just come from house hacking. You came from that turnkey property. Maybe we're not completely ready for a full rehab. Really looking for a mini BRRRR is a place where you can still add some value, but you're not necessarily ready to become an entire like GC here or a project manager overseeing an entire gut rehab. And mini BRRRR maybe need to update some kitchens and bathrooms. It can't just be cosmetic. If all you do is go in and once again paint and maybe rip out some carpets, well, that's not going to give you any money to actually pull out. That's not going to give you anything that you're actually going to be able to do in that space. But it'll give you an introduction and give you the experience that also you're going to need as we keep moving through this list, right? So that mini BRRRR, you really want to look for that value add. Where can I either add an extra bedroom? What bathrooms? What kitchens can I update? Where am I really making a difference? So in that way, when I go to refinance, there's actually equity there for me to be able to pull out in the long run, okay? Strategy number 4 then, as now we get our confidence growing here, after that mini BRRRR, is to do that full BRRRR. To say, you know what, I now am in a place where I can actually take on, I have my teams in place, I know my contractor, I know my window guy, I know my electrician, all those different things, we now have that set. Once you're in a place where you have that confidence and you're able to grow and can start taking on more, now is when you want to look for that full BRRRR. This is where you're really going to have a lot more of that equity to be able to pull out because you're putting more work in, right? This is going to start to introduce to you properties that maybe not everybody else is going to want to pick up. You can actually still find BRRRRs even on the MLS, right? But now, once again, you're looking at properties that the average buyer that's looking for their forever home, the home that they're going to be in for the rest of their lives, that they don't want to do that work. Well, now you're going to have kind of a little bit of less competition in that sense because you're not competing against those families. But that BRRRR is really going to give you that opportunity to really create that self-sustaining portfolio of putting that down payment on repeat time and time again. The last strategy I want to share with you then is now taking that BRRRR and pushing that forward. That's really looking for those de-stressed properties. That now is entering that space where you're saying, you know what, I can kind of take anything that's going to come my way. I can now go pick up a property in an auction. I can go pick up a property that maybe I haven't seen the inside of because you know what? I have the experience, I have the team, I have the knowledge, and I have the confidence to be able to take on those properties. This is the space where really you're able to pick up properties at the cheapest price point, and you're able to actually create really that most amount of equity possible within a property. This is really where you're able to put not only that down payment on repeat, but you're going to be able to pull out some of that profit. You're going to be able to rent this and really kind of get rolling from that spot. Once again, though, this property, this strategy that we're talking about here, more work, more time, more risk, but absolutely more reward, right? So let me know down in the comments. I would love to know where you would jump in. Are you a person that's saying, hey, you know what? I want to jump into that entry level and continue to go up that list? Or are you a person that's saying, you know what? That's it. I'm going for the top. I'm taking those just properties. Let me know down in the comments what you choose for your strategy. And also let me know how I can help. Thank you very much for joining me on today's episode of the Lady Landlords Podcast. Please do make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed today's episode, which I know you did, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review. That helps other women on their real estate investing journey find us as well, and also make sure that they understand that we have our Facebook community of over 50,000 women that they can really plug into and know that they're not alone on this journey. Thank you very much, and I will see you next week for the next episode of the Lady Landlords Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Lady Landlords Podcast. If you're feeling stuck in your real estate investing journey, visit lady-landlords.com to book a 15-minute orientation call with me and see if you're ready to join our mentorship program. Or you can subscribe to our newsletter and join our Facebook group for exclusive real estate investing tips and offers. Invest with confidence. Become a Lady Landlord today.